Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review Episode 179. This is reviewing the 1069 episode, 67th episode series. See, it's called The Shopping Center in Love. I'm also going to be discussing chapters 1104 to 1105 of the Case Closed manga. Mostly put this episode, the subject is called The Shopping Center in Love. The title is very misleading. There's nothing about love in this whole episode. Not really per se. Yeah, it's almost like the way this title was for this episode. It's almost like this is supposed to be a completely different episode based on the title, and it seems like this was taken from a different script per se. Now, we start out with basically Conan and Mori at a vegetable stand, where the guy apparently he has no energy to set up his own stand. Apparently it's kind of late in the day. And then all of a sudden we hear this announcement. Of course he says, oh yeah, you can get some vegetables. Like, okay, you can set up, if you set it up, I'll give you a discount. Like, okay. Yep. Yep. So. Yep. And of course we see this chubby woman who first up as a god producer named Gaga. That's her name, Gaga. And she was promoting a wrestling event at this particular shopping center. Yes, a wrestling event. And the association president, which they're there, which he comes by. Apparently he was a legendary referee at one point, or apparently people who watch TV on TV sets in the streets. I'm like, that sounds quite strange. Why the heck people want to do it? If people want to watch wrestling, they can watch at home. Why the heck would they watch on the streets for? This makes no frickin' sense at all. He appears for just 2 scenes, and that is it for the guy. Mori sort of dragged into it so he become a referee. It's later revealed the reason why, because basically he finds the actual champion, Mimi, to be hot. She calls herself Cutie Mimi. And she's found out to have a YouTube page, and it's all about comedy wrestling. No, seriously. And of course, there's the reason why for the wrestling. I'll get to that. So, and then of course, all the owners had to do some training, and they're really lazy, and they get all really sore, and they spend a day at the chiropractor. And apparently, all the opponents, all the owners are all sore except for like 3 people. It's well a decent fight when they have the ring. Of course, they had this thing where, oh yeah, we have to ring over this manhole for some reason. Then pretty much like they had the match going on, though of course Conan before the event match happens. He calls up, but by the way, Ran is challenged to a wrestling match. Yes, and she puts on a gi in the post-credit scene. So, all because basically she kind of intimidated her to basically manipulate her to do it. So, he calls up Hybra. Yeah, she's actually in one of these original episodes, which I'm like, wow, you have her in here, but you don't have the rest of the Technical Boys? Well, they give a reason why, because basically Conan didn't call them, and the fact they weren't necessary here. But I guess they thought, though, oh crap, we forgot to include these people in, so let's put them in next week's episode. Let's focus the whole episode on Technical Boys. For reasons. By the way, Hybra is actually in the episode for next week. I can't confirm that. So, we have where the match is going on. It goes about halfway through the 30-minute match, and the match is stopped, and basically Mimi is declared to be the loser. Of course, after Conan knocks out Mori, and reveals that the whole thing was an elaborate trap to steal jewels from a jewelry store. Yes, apparently the jewelry was set up. By the way, Mimi is actually Gaga's daughter, and the manager is actually her son. No, seriously, it's her son. So, apparently the whole rest of it is all a cover to rob a jewelry, for a jewelry store robbery. Yep. And of course, Hybra called the police, and of course, he's like, Mama, the police showed up, like, well, what's going on? Why did the police show while I was digging? Yeah, he gets arrested for prop damage, and of course, arrested also for theft and a bunch of other stuff. Of course, he gets arrested. And then Rand shows up at the event, and nobody's there. And of course, she sees that her opponent is being arrested. Yes. What an interesting episode. Next week is kind of an odd one where it involves the man in silhouette stealing pizzas. That's it. Was the plot of next episode. Stealing pizzas and involving Sherlock Holmes. All right. Now we have 2 chapters here, which kind of wrapping up this particular arc called, well, that was the first called The Bloodstained Night. So more Conan looking at a chess piece. By the way, the inspector where he's there, that the whole thing with the chess piece is a ruse. And they found like a white cape keychain. I think he's responsible, but no, not really. Yeah, so investigating. And they find out who the suspects are, these 4 people. Who they are, they'll find out in the next chapter. So after some interrogation with a lot of people, and apparently there was a picture that the inspectors, the supervisor inspector saw when he was younger, where you see like a blood on a finger and blood on a night piece and surrounded by a watch. And you go look at Wakabayashi. It's like back with her. And of course, crossword puzzle, which is covered in blood. And then we see this mysterious old man who's smoking. Yes, who is this old man, you might ask? Well, because parents, this could be the leader of a Black organization, but they don't really confirm who this guy is. It's just a guy who's smoking. Moving on to chapter 1005, Tears of Defeat. Now, they don't say this one's the conclusion. It's called The Case Part 3, so from my perspective, like, oh, thank God, basically, this is not the conclusion of the story arc. Basically, we're going to continue this. So, after more investigating, and of course, look on the phone. Of course, they talk about it's all about chess here. Dutch cheers, and of course, you have the gossip basically tested the whole Dutch cheers thing. And it's found out that the guy with the mustache, he actually was one responsible for killing him. And the reason why he killed him, excuse me, it's all due to chess. And apparently he did this because he was distracted by a song. Yeah, seriously, that was the reason for it. Gus got distracted, of course, guy gets arrested. Wakabayashi basically is looked at by the inspectors. He apparently it's not the inspector, actually the old man, this bald guy in his car who's smoking. And he says, send in Shintari in Korn. Tell him it's because the suspicious must be punished. And then come look at the picture, and the inspector reveals that, well, there's a story behind it, and it's a long story, do you mind? And that's a chapter. I'm like, okay. For me, yes. Pretty good chapter, but but it's a pretty good 2 set of chapters. I don't feel as though there's a conclusion to the story arc per se, because it said Case Part 3, and that's a conclusion like it normally would. So I do think we're going to have another chapter of this particular arc. I'd say another 2 or 3 chapters. Hopefully, I'm really hoping this is longer than just 3 chapters. The way it looks right now, it looks like it's going to be the case. I give the chapters roughly a 9 out of 10. Okay, so that's a particular view. Next up is going to be Chainsaw Man. Yep, next video. Bye.